Imagine it's 1945. The war in Europe is almost over, but American generals are still terrified of one thing: the impenetrable Siegfried Line and Germany's strongest fortifications. They need a real battering ram, a machine that can crawl right up to concrete bunkers and smash them to pieces without fearing any return fire. That's how the monster was born, weighing nearly 95 tons, with frontal armor 12 inches, 305 millimeters, thicker than any production tank of World War II. No rotating turret, but armed with a powerful gun that could fire up to 12 miles away. It had several names. First the T28, then the T95 gun motor carriage, and later back to the super heavy tank T28. But history remembers it as the Doom Turtle. Today we're telling the craziest story of America's super heavy tank that never got to fight, but almost became a legend. Everything started back in 1943. The U.S. Ordnance Department realized that regular Shermans and even the new heavy tanks wouldn't be enough against German concrete defenses. They needed a true assault beast. The design they came up with was both revolutionary and completely strange. Instead of a rotating turret, it had a fixed casemate, mounting a 105mm T5E1 gun. This gun could only traverse 11 degrees left and right, and elevate up to 19.5 degrees. But the armor? The front was 305 millimeters of rolled steel. The sides were 152 millimeters thick. Even the roof was thicker than the frontal armor of most tanks at the time. To handle this enormous weight, engineers used a unique quadruple track system, 2 pairs of tracks on each side. The outer tracks could be quickly removed for rail transport, making the vehicle 29 tons lighter and actually transportable by train. They installed a Ford GAF V8 engine, the same one used in the Pershing tank, producing around 410 horsepower. It should have been enough, but it wasn't. The top speed was only 8 miles per hour, about 13 kilometers per hour. On rough terrain, it crawled like a giant iron turtle. The crew consisted of just 4 men. The main gun fired high-velocity shells capable of penetrating any armor at extreme ranges. On top, there was a single 50-caliber Browning machine gun for anti-aircraft defense. The first prototypes were finally completed in late 1945, one in December and the second in January 1946. But by then, the war in Europe had already ended in May 1945, and Japan surrendered in August. The tank had nowhere to go. Out of 25 vehicles originally planned, only 2 were ever built. The first prototype was sent to Yuma Proving Grounds for testing. There, disaster struck. The engine caught fire, the vehicle was heavily damaged, and it was eventually scrapped. The second prototype went through trials at Aberdeen and Fort Knox. Engineers scratched their heads. Yes, the armor was incredible and the firepower impressive, but mobility was terrible. Reliability was low, and newer designs with proper turrets like the T29 already looked much more promising. In 1949, the entire program was officially canceled, and now comes the most incredible part of the story. The second prototype simply disappeared. After the program was shut down, it was moved to Fort Belvoir in Virginia and left in a remote corner of the proving ground. Years passed. The Korean War, Vietnam, the Cold War. The tank just sat there, rusting and slowly disappearing under bushes and vegetation. The United States Army literally lost a 95-ton super heavy tank for 27 years. It was only rediscovered in 1974 during a routine inventory check. It was standing in a field, almost completely hidden by overgrown bushes, like an ancient dinosaur that everyone had forgotten. Today, the only surviving T28/T95 is beautifully restored and stands in the United States Army Armor and Cavalry Collection at Fort Moore, Georgia. It looks absolutely stunning. A true relic from the time when America tried to build a tank powerful enough to end the war by itself. The T28 or T95 is a classic example of how a brilliant and ambitious idea can be just a few months too late and turn into nothing more than a museum piece. It was too heavy, too slow, and born too late, but it perfectly embodied the bold American wartime engineering spirit. If we need to break through an impenetrable wall, we will build a machine that will simply crush that wall under its weight. If the war had lasted just one more year, who knows? Maybe these iron turtles would have crawled across the Rhine and changed history forever. Which American prototype interests you the most? The T29, the T30, or maybe something even crazier? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, hit the like button and subscribe. There are many more forgotten monsters of World War II still waiting to be told. See you in the next video.